Hello, my lovely stitchy friends. How are you all doing? This is Mieke and I am here to finally make good on a promise that I made you a long time ago. I am here to do my WIP Parade. It's been a long time coming, guys. I am so sorry that it took me so long, but here I am. This is going to be a long one, I'm afraid. You already know exactly, looking at the timestamp, how long this is going to be. I have a tower of stuff on my right side. And when I say tower, I mean quite literally a tower. Insert photographic evidence here. Those are all my WIPs. There are 32 of them. And all with the exception of one, the oldest, have been started in the past 3 years. You'll have to excuse me, I have a bit of a sore throat, I'm sorry. So that is on average 10 starts a year. What? I did not say that. You didn't hear me say anything. 10 starts a year? No way. What are you talking about? 14 of those have happened this year so far. And I'm not yet done starting. So there are quite some beauties and some awesome projects to go through together. So, you know, settle in, get yourself a drink, get some stitching, and let's go. I have my laptop on my left with my notes and, you know, start dates, fabric and stuff. So every now and then I will be referring to that one. But let's get started. I've put them in chronological order and we're gonna go from oldest to newest. The one WIP that I have from before 2015 is my beloved Night Fairy by Maria van Scharrenburg. This is a Lanard kit. Her sister Day, here in the corner, is still kitted up and not started. But Night, both of them I got as a present from my mom when I was 18. And Night is about 75, maybe even 80% done. She is stitched on 27 count, 100% cotton, even weave. And here she is. I see that I need to sit back a little. I just have the bottom left corner to do. I should get cracking on this, shouldn't I? The only thing is that this is a paper chart, and ever since I started, you know, marking off my charts digitally, paper charts have been a pain in the butt. So I should digitize this and, you know, get her done. That was my one start before 2015, before I, you know, got into cross stitch majorly, discovered Flosstube, discovered Instagram, discovered all the goodies, and the result of that is here. My second WIP is my Pick to Pat project. You know, the website where you can transfer your photos into cross stitch patterns. And this is my Gaudi project. I finished Satsuma Street's Barcelona as, you know, the first item once I got really back into stitching in 2015. And back then I got the idea that I would put Barcelona, insert picture here by the way, to put Barcelona in the middle of a triptych and to chart two of my Gaudi pictures as cross-stitch patterns, to stitch them up and to make a triptych out of them. So far I have only started one of them. I will obviously insert a picture of the real mosaic tile here. This was my first time entering into confetti hell. And now that I look back on it, shall I show you the back? Yeah, sure, why not? That's what confetti hell looks like. This was a perfect preparation for my first ever Heaven and Earth designs. I need to get back to these. I still have that idea of, you know, making it into a triptych. Pretty little Barcelona in the middle, two wonderful Gaudi tiles on the left and right of it. I should get back to this. And you're gonna hear me say that a lot more in this video. Like I said, this piece perfectly prepared me for the confetti hell of a heaven and earth designs. This piece was also the last time that I was a one whip at a time girl. By the time that I was finishing Pretty Little Barcelona, I had discovered Flosstube, I had discovered the Heaven and Earth Designs website, I had discovered all these wonderful, wonderful, wonderful things. And yeah, once you finally start a hate, it becomes pretty difficult to remain a one whip at a time girl. And that first hate that I started was Amy Stewart's Little Blue. I don't have a paper picture here, so for some of these projects I do, and then I will show it to you. If I don't have a printed picture, I will put it in the video. Here is what I got done on Little Blue. This is the top left corner, 1 page and about a half. And those of you who have entered in Heaven and Earth Designs challenges in the past will recognize the, you know, checkered shape of one of the designs, or one of the challenges, sorry. This is the first item that I am going to move to the UFO pile. It's not because I don't love the piece anymore. I still love Little Blue. I still love Amy Stewart's designs. But this is stitched on 25 count 1/1 full cross, and I have since discovered that I way prefer stitching my hates on 18 count. So this is going into the UFO pile. I very much hope one day I will restart this on 18 count. But for now, it's going into the UFO pile. There are a few other hates in the tower, in the WIP tower, and a couple of those are also going to go into the UFO pile because I have decided that I want to concentrate for now on 2 of my hates. And I have a couple of more than 2. My 4th WIP is also going to move to the UFO pile. This is Leslie Tears' Ring of Roses, a Christmas wreath. And this is what I've done on it. This was my first time stitching on 32 count Murano. This is the color Platinum. And if you look at this, you'll say, oh man, that's gorgeous. You should continue that. But the problem is in this wreath of roses. I very much like the teal bow, but I just don't love the roses. There are so many color changes in there, so many different shades of purple and pink and white, and it just really, really doesn't call to me anymore. So this is gonna go into the UFO pile. And by now there are many, many other Christmas designs that I would much rather, unfortunately, stitch on. My 5th WIP was my first ever Joan Elliott design, and also my first time stitching on hand-dyed fabric. And boy, was I in love. We are talking about Iris Fairy. Here she is. This beautiful fabric is Big Bang by Pole Stitches. Oh man, and when I took this out last night, as I was, you know, gathering the tower, I said to myself, oh man, you need to continue this. By this time I had, you know, changed to marking of my charts digitally. So this is, you know, somewhere on the tablet, ready for me to go. This was also the first time that I did skin 1/1. And I remember how much that knee bothered me. But I persevered and I won. And I think she's looking fabulous. Iris Fairy by Joan Elliott. again, I need to get back to this. WIP number 6, which was also the final start of 2015, is another Joan Elliott, the beautiful blue Cinderella. Cinderella is stitched on a piece of crafty kitten jobelin, and the color is Twilight Shadows. Isn't that pretty? That's the castle that you see up there and the beginnings of her dress. This was my first time stitching on quite a dark fabric and stitching also with Krynic. You can see in the towers here, the flags and the flagpoles are Krynic. Ah, gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Joan Elliott makes fantastic stuff, don't we all agree? Those were my starts for 2015. Moving to 2016. And I'm also looking at my stitchy journal here. The first start that I did in 2016. The first start that I did in 2016 was Clouds Factory's giant Harry Potter sampler. Ah, love this piece. I'm almost done with the top row. Zooming in for you here. I cannot see through this fabric, so I hope you're seeing what I'm seeing. I just need to finish Slytherin banner and then I'm done with the top row. This was my first time using Petite Treasure braid, and that is so much better than Krynic if you ask me. The fabric is 32 count Murano in light blue. And you guys, this was so fun. I took this out for the first time in, well, I think 2.5 years for Jessie Marie's birthday tag, where, you would get bonus points for stitching on a Harry Potter piece because it was on Harry's birthday. And that was a lot of fun. I mean, I still love the Harry Potter universe. I cannot wait for Fantastic Beasts Part 2 to come out. And I love the Harry Potter universe. The second start in 2016 was another Heaven and Earth Designs. And this one is not going to go into the UFO pile because I still love her very much. Hannah Lynn's Mini Celia. And this is what I've done on her. The fabric is Goldenrod, 25 count by Under the Sea Fabrics. I'm checking. Yes, Under the Sea Fabrics. And I chose this gold with white specks because I am removing the background of this as I go. I finished the first page of this in one of the Heaven and Earth Facebook group Heaven and Earth Designs Facebook group challenges. Good morning. And the challenge was cross-country stitching, which was, really good because there is so much black outline in here. Oh man, I still am deeply in love with her hair. And if I could sport a hair color like that, which I can't, I would. WIP number 8, Mini Celia. She's gorgeous. She is absolutely gorgeous. WIP number 9 is my first ever Marabou Leah. It's red, Mirabilia's red, but in a blue conversion. Stitched by xxMieke at blogspot.com. This is not my conversion. All credits go to xxMieke, so look her up on Google if you like her. She is like a Marabou Leah conversion queen. She stitched red in purple and in turquoise and in blue. And I came across this picture somewhere on either Google or Pinterest and I was like, oh, yes. And I still love her like this. Red is my first time stitching on an opalescent fabric. This is 32 count Icicle. Yes, Icicle Opal Moreno by Crafty Kitten. And here's what I have so far. Her face is done. The hood is coming along nicely. I've started on her dress. If you want more information on this piece and the various, let's say, adventures that I've had with her skin and with her dress, I would advise you to look up one of my videos that's called Marabou Leah March, because there was a March month once where I focused on her. Oh, she's still gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous. WIP number 10 was my first ever Northern Expressions Needleworks design. Spanish diamonds. Also my first ever specialty stitches design. And if you've been following me for a while longer, you know that I am not doing this in the 5 charted blues, which seems to go very against my character, but I am definitely loving the conversion that I have picked. This is the first time you're gonna see a Q snap. We are now venturing into the things that I'm actively working on. Here we go. The fabric is 32 count Murano in Summer Breeze by Paul Stitches. And as we go, I am converting the vertical bands to gold with green, and the horizontal bands are gold with blues. Love this piece. Oh man, so easy to stitch on. Gorgeous. My last start for 2016 was another Amy Stewart, Moon Charmer. This gorgeous lady. And she is also going to move to the UFO pile. Here's what I did on her. I loved this piece when I first started working on it. But as I progressed into the pages, I said to myself, or I didn't say to myself, but I thought to myself at some point, I prefer heights that have lighter blue shades. Moon Charmer is exquisite. I mean, look at that night sky, and you can't really see it in the print here, but there's so much sparkle going on in, you know, the moon and in her dress. But all these dark colors in the trees here, all the dark green and all the black that's in it, do I enjoy stitching that, or do I love this piece more because of the picture itself? And the answer is, in all honesty, the last. I love the picture itself more than the stitch. So this is going into the UFO pile, and I'm not sure if it will ever come out. To be honest, I don't think so. But I'm not the type of girl to, you know, throw her stuff away. But this is going to the UFO pile. That was 2016. We are now at 11 WIPs. 2017 started with a first for me doing a New Year, New Start. And the new start that I picked was my first Passion Ricamo Fairy Guide Evening Star. Insert picture here. She consists of 12 wonderful shades of Petite Treasure Braid. I've been drooling over those in previous videos, so I've not taken them out now. And I started working on her waist and then moved into a wing. This is a print fabric by Paul Stitches called Moon. It's printed on one side. The back side is just, you know, blank. And I hope I hope the sparkle will show. You never know. Ah, stunning. Stunning, stunning, stunning. WIP number 13 is another Heaven and Earth Designs. And this one is one of the two that I want to focus on when we are talking about hates. This is the first design that I ever put on my wish list. And if you see the picture, it will not be hard for you to see why. This is Night Moves by Jim Warren. I mean, duh. I am almost done with the first page. And it is a breeze to stitch on because there's just a couple of shades of blue. Oh, hey. Sparkly unicorn needle minder. I forgot I had that one. I have a sparkly unicorn needle minder. This says absolutely nothing to most of you, but it does say something to my good friend Patricia, who I have converted into a cross-stitch addict and who loves sparkly unicorn things. That is Night Moves. And these are the colors that go in the first page. I mean, a breeze, a breeze, a breeze. So easy to stitch on. That's one of the two hates that I've decided to focus on. Next up is, oh yeah, Shades of Gold by Northern Expressions Needlework. This was ultimately a restart, and I'll show you the original one and the current one. This was the first time for me stitching with beautiful paradijsgaren. At some point in the springtime, in the springtime of 2017, I visited Borduur Paradijs for the first time, and I was lost ever since. But I have no regrets. And this was the piece that I bought while I was still in the store, drooling over that beautiful wall of threads, and I knew I have to stitch something with this. Shades of Gold by Northern Expressions Needleworks, and I turned it into a color conversion. But I was not happy with my first attempt. My first attempt was on this beautiful fabric, Aphrodite by Pole Stitches. And now that I look at it, it's still very pretty, but what I had in mind was more blue-green. And this was just, it was too purple for me. I wanted a more blue-green version. So ultimately, with pain in my heart, I put that aside and I started over. This is, oh dear, 28 count Jobbelin in Peacock by Crafty Kitten. And that I am much happier with. These colors are Midnight, the dark one, and Seawater, the blue-green one. And this is way more what I had in mind for this beautiful piece. So yeah, in the end, I'm very happy that I restarted it. WIP number 15 is a piece that almost everybody jumped on the bandwagon for last year. And I am normally not somebody who jumps on the bandwagon, but last year was my first time encountering, the phenomenon of Nashville Needlework Market. I know I've been lying under a rock, but last year was the first time I encountered Nashville Needlework Market. And one of the hit designs to come from that edition was, of course, Coffee Quaker by Heartstring Samplery. And I am stitching this in a blue color conversion. The first two colors are in. This is 32 count Vintage Marmor by Zweigart, and the blue for the letters is ooh, I need to think very hard here. Karen Water Lilies Mediterranean. And the blue purple here is Sapphire by Jodery Designs, which was a wonderful thread that the lovely Adele gifted to me. The reason that I have not stitched any more on this is because around that time we found out that Sasha was pregnant, and I started Dona Stitches Frozen for her. So this has not gotten any attention in the last year and a half, but I am still very determined to get back to this piece. And the project bag that belongs to this Q-snap is filled with all sorts of blue and purpley hand-dyed threads, and oh man, I just love going through those and coming up with possible combinations for the next motif. But that's where Coffee Quaker is at the moment. Then another Shades of ... series, Shades of Turquoise. I started this piece with Christian in mind, and I wanted it to be a companion to Shades of Gold. Christian's colors are very much red and purple, whereas mine are green and blue. So I also made a color conversion on this. And just like happened with its sister, this also got restarted very recently. This was my first attempt. I got quite far, as you can see. I worked on this piece when we were in Bolivia last year. But as I progressed through it, I was not happy with my fabric choice. Wait, I'll unfold it a bit more. This is Stormy Skies by Pole Stitches. And it's a gorgeous fabric, but for a piece that should consist of reds and purples, there is too much blue in this. Do you see the blue spotches? And I wasn't content with it. I loved the threads, I still do, but I really didn't like how they played out against the fabric. So, after much deliberation, I decided to restart it. And I restarted it last weekend, for those of you who've seen it. I am now stitching it on... Is this going to focus? No, of course it won't. Let me read it to you. Lavender Bouquet 28 count linen by Barbarol Creations, which is a Hungarian Etsy shop. And now this is a purple fabric. Ta-da! It's more reddish purple than shows up on camera. It looks a bit more indigo here, while it's actually pretty violet. But okay. This I am way happier with. I've stitched up the central motif this weekend, and I love especially how the bright red fuchsia thread, or fuchsia I should probably say in proper English, excuse me, how the fuchsia thread is, bouncing off the fabric. Very happy with that. And then WIP number 17 was a stitch along by Abby Gurdon over on Facebook, a specialty stitches stitch along. It was called Peace in My Heart. And I fell in love with this when Orietta was stitching it. You should definitely check her Instagram or her YouTube channel, because she did a wonderful, wonderful job on this. These are, I think, parts 1 and 2 out of 6. There are a couple of solid DMC colors, and the blue-black thread that you see in here is a limited edition Paradijsgaren. I very much intend, to finish this. It's not a very big design, it's a band sampler. And this is, all there is to it. This is Turquoise by xxDesign. And now that, at this moment it's showing up as bright as it is. Boom. We are coming on to WIP number 18, which was my final start for 2017. And that means that, like I said, for the year 2018, there is another pile of 14 projects lying here. Start number 18 was a gift from my mom for my birthday last year. a limited edition pattern by Joke Trubbedenijs, the Quaker. And isn't that amazing? This is 32 count linen in oil green by xxMieke Design. The thread is a limited edition paradijsgaren, which beautifully variegates from red to brownish to green to blue to even little bits of grey. I love it. It's gonna say, quiet please, cross stitcher at work, which is very apt. Those were my 2017 starts. And now let's move into the beautiful 14 projects that I've started in 2018. Once Frozen was done, the donut stitch design that I stitched for Sasha's baby girl Mieke, I just had a starting fiesta, a major big starting party, and it has been going on for all year so far, and it's gonna continue even more because in a couple of weeks it will be my birthday and I am going to start something else new. And I'm going to show you that after this whole pile is done. The first thing that I started after Frozen was done was the Twisted Band Sampler Stitch Along that Letitia, the crafty curator, and I talked each other into. This gorgeous specialty stitches project. Letitia has already long ago finished hers. Go over to her channel. It's amazing. It's wonderful. They are such beautiful, warm, soft tones. And I have only completed the first 3 colors so far. So I'm super behind. Go look at hers. It's amazing. I stitched mine in a peacock thread pack from Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers. The first 3 colors are in. They are these beautiful shades. This is 32 count opalescent Murano by Zweigart. And I love how the silks and the sparkles go together. And these are the other colors that are going to go in. Oh, they're a bit messy, but you'll get the idea. Yellowish green into more darker green, venturing into blues. Turquoise also ending up in dark purple. Sorry about the glare, but it will have to do. Gorgeous, right? Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. My second new start for the year and WIP number 20 was Tapestry by Ink Circles. I was so tempted towards the end of the year, I think already, by Caroline and Ingeborg, who started this piece under the hashtag #ICTapestry. And I knew once I looked at it, I have to do this in a color conversion. And this project has gotten so much love from you guys this year. It's fantastic to get your feedback every time I put a new color in. It's quite an adventure, and there has been some frogging going on in places, but I absolutely love how it's looking now. I'm almost halfway. It's been quite a while since you've seen it on here, so there's Tapestry. Oh, gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. This is a mix of Fiberlicious, Karen Water Lilies, Color and Cotton, DMC color variations. I think that's about it. I love how this is coming along. The fabric is 32 count vintage gray Murano by Zweigart. And I love how the colors are bouncing off it. This is just a joy to work on. And now that I've made all my color choices, it is simply a task of, filling everything in and going through the motifs on the mirrored side of the pattern. My third new start was Heaven and Earth Designs, Rihanna by Rachel Anderson. And the same problem, let's say, the same thing occurred here as did with Moon Charmer by Amy Stewart. I love the picture. I absolutely love the colors, but it's so dark. And I don't really enjoy stitching with such dark colors. I mean, especially here, it looks like they are especially here in the bottom, but I've started in the top left corner and look how dark these colors are. What also didn't help is that this 18 count easy guide is super splitty. Oh man, it happened. I don't know if it will show if I zoom. No, it will not focus. No, it's not going to focus. But trust me on my word that this Ada is so super splitty and stiff and just no. Just no. So this guy is, or this girl is into the UFO pile, unfortunately. WIP number 22 is Echo by Alessandra Adelaide. Gorgeous design. Oh man, it had been on my wish list for a long time. And now that, you know, Frozen was done, excuse me, I finally allowed myself to start it. This was my first time, or this is my first time, I should say, stitching with a Silks for You hank. And this is how far I am. Ooh, I need to put something behind it. Wait a sec. There, that's a bit better. It's once again showing up. I mean, you can see how yellow my face is there, right? It's not it's not true to life. Can I get it better? Yeah, there you go. That is the actual color. This is 32 count Elle's Dark Magic by Chromatic Alchemy. This is a piece that I cannot stitch on in the evenings with artificial light. It needs to be bright, sunny weather, and then I can stitch on it without trouble. But even, you know, my artificial stitching light is giving me a headache with this one. But it's lovely. So it's going very slow, but I love it. And these are... I need to do something about that growing pile here. And this is the hank of silk from Silks for You that I'm using. Ah, amazing. Just amazing. Lovely. A lot of fun, going very slow. No matter, I'm not in a hurry. There we go. What was up next? Oh yeah, I caved and jumped on the bandwagon for the second time in my stitching career with the Modern Folk Embroidery Quaker Year Stitch Along. Oh man, this is such a comforting, lovely piece. Here you go. Please excuse the wrinkles. I've just taken it off the Q-snap. I finished the winter months, January to March, and I've now started on April. Just like Tapestry, this piece is getting so much love from you, and I love that. And it is mostly because of this thread that I'm using. This is DMC 4022. It's a color variations that you don't see very often. I ran into it by mere accident, and I just love how bright and blue and cheerful it is. This is, oh man. I found it somewhere in a Dutch stitching shop. I think it was Hardanger.nl, I think. And I bought every last skein that they had. I have about 22 skeins of this. And I love this. This is one of my favorite thread colors ever. It's so pretty and it's so me. This is a piece that I love working on. You've heard Caroline mention it many, many times. Just, it's so well designed, and it's just such a joy to stitch on. it's just, it's lovely. Absolutely lovely. Next start was a Joke Trebbe de Nijs. Hashtag Joke Trebbe de Nijs. Can you pronounce the name? Pattern, the acorn. In English, the squirrel. I started this one in the spring in honor of our Needles in Paradise stitching retreat. This was the first time stitching with her silks. Yes, stitching with her silks. And they are lovely. Here's how far I've gotten. Love it, love it, love it. The fabric is, excuse me, 32, yeah, 32 vintage green Zweigart linen. And I just love the autumnal feel of this. Absolutely stunning. And then I had a little impromptu stitch mania. You may remember the video that I shot in the car on a Friday when I had gone to the dentist for a dentist appointment. And yeah, of course, because you go to the dentist for a dentist appointment, right? I think I need some more coffee. I'm rambling here. And then I decided to, you know, treat myself with a visit to WIP Parade and give myself a very good excuse to do a little spontaneous mania. And I kitted up the beautiful peacock pattern Rondenlap Kalkar 2 that I also sent to Letitia after the stitching retreat. I kitted it up. These colors do not do the project justice, trust me. It's much more vivid and beautiful when you see it stitched up. And here is my version of it. This is another turquoise by xxDesign with 4 different kinds of Paradijsgaren silks. I'm very much mixing up the colors. I'm not doing it in the colors as charted, but I love how it's coming along. It's just a very nice, relaxing stitch. There's no hurry. It's cool. Next was a piece that has gotten a lot of love as well from you guys. Bocholt by Joke Trebbe de Nijs. This is that piece that we did an autumnal color variation on. And I'm stitching it in these wonderful, soft autumn color silks. Oh, you guys, this is like brushing your own hair. This is so soft. This is amazing. And I have done a little start on it. There's not more progress than last time you saw it, but I'm going to show it anyway. There is my version of Bocholt. The 5 colors are now all in. This is the center and it spreads out. The color is 36 counts linen in oil green by xxDesign. And I cannot wait to see this finished. I'm not a fall person. I very much prefer springtime and summer. I don't like the colder seasons. But the colors of autumn, oh, I do love them. I do love them. And then the third piece that, you know, made my Mania 3 was my first ever long dog samplers, ROS Marquis. Another one that had been on the wish list for quite a while. I'm stitching it in my top favorite Borduur Paradijsgaren, Zaanshuisje. I think I have shown this thread 4, maybe 5 times on my channel in the past year, and I keep bringing it back and twirling it in my fingers because I love it. Oh, it's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. And here's what I've done so far. This is 28 count light blue Jobelin. It shows up a bit more purple. It's more bluish. I've started in the center here and I'm working my way to the left corners. This is the piece that I did my Stitch With Me video on while I answered the Emily C tag. Just lovely. Lovely and relaxing. We are coming up to, for now, my final Heaven and Earth designs. Blue Mermaid by Alena Lazareva. Oh, this speaks to me on so many levels. I loved this chart so much that when Hate released it, I purchased, I should say, the color expansion. So instead of the 90 colors, this chart contains 150 colors. And what I especially love about this piece is that I am stitching it on 18 count Davosa. Zweigart makes an 18 count even weave. And let me tell you, it is fantastic. Boom! I finished the first page in under a month, and I'm well underway with page 2. And from now on until eternity, I am going to be stitching my Hates on 18 count Davosa. It is fantastic. My stitches line neatly. It's way softer because it is an even weave, so it feels much softer on your hands and on your fingers than Ada does. This is wonderful to work on. This is absolutely wonderful. Okay, 3 whips left. The end is in sight. 2 of the last 3 have been started because of the Needles in Paradise retreat reunion that we had towards the end of June. I said I was not going to purchase as much. As I told you in my retreat reunion video, I went there with just 4 items on my list. But of course, I cannot resist Joke's goodies. The first pattern I bought and I started was the vierkante cirkel, the squared circle. I'm stitching it in beautiful cotton aardbeien, strawberries. It's lightly variegated. It goes from red to fuchsia to orange. Very subtle, very pretty. And here's what I've done so far. This is 32 count raspberry by xxDesign. This is not the fabric that I had originally planned it on. I bought a similar shade of fabric at WIP Parade thinking it was 32, but it turned out to be a 28 count. And the coverage was just really not good for that. So this is the start on the center. Very relaxing piece. The second pattern I kitted up there was one of Joke's newest designs. At Volt. Gorgeous, symmetric, one color garden piece. I'm stitching this with the Deenkel, which is a cotton also. Beautiful green, aqua, gray. It's on a 25 count DMC Hunter Green fabric. There you go. That shows it properly. Isn't that pretty? Oh, I love how this looks. I can't stitch on it for a very long time because the stitches are so tiny on 25 count. But I do love to put in a strand or 2 every time I work on it, and then I just move to something else. This is going to be awesome. Awesome. And then the last start that I had, which was at the beginning of August, is a piece that in the month that I've worked on it has come to mean a lot to me. And I'll tell you that story once I've shown it to you. This is Long Dog Sampler's Scarlet Ribbons, which in later days became part of #LongDogAlong as run by Stephanie Lindy Stitches and Ingeborg. This is a Quaker style, and I've loved this for a very long time, and I just said to myself, let's go for it. I'm stitching it on a custom piece of Rocky Mountain 36 count by xxMieke Designs. I've never shown this on YouTube, so here we go. Let's see if it will show up properly. Yes, there we go. It's hard to see the variegation in this, I think. It shows better on pictures. But here is the thread, held together by My Clay by Kim. I finally got one. This is Gloriana's Sumatra. This is a thread that she released for Ink Circle's Forests of Sumatra at Nashville Needlework Market this year. And it is, this is by now my favorite thread in the whole wide world. Gloriana's are amazing. They are a 12 strand silk, and I have never felt anything softer go through my hands. This particular color is, as I said, is new. It was released at Nashville this year, and it goes from beautiful forest green into almost blue emerald. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. The piece has on 4 places little sayings. It says, practice makes perfect, time flies, make much of time, and love conquers all. And even though I agree with all of those, I am going to change that up. And here is where this piece becomes a bit personal. I am going to put a Gaudí quote in there. Gaudí, as you may know, is that wonderful Spanish Barcelona architect who designed the Sagrada Familia and who is one of my favorite artists in all the world. And he has a quote, I'll put it below in Spanish in text. And it's way more prettier in Spanish than it is in English, I think. But the gist of it is, if you want to do great work, you need to love your job. And that is very much a theme for me this year. And I don't really know yet how I'm going to tell this to you, but I deliberately waited to tell you how I am doing until the end of this video. Normally, if I start a video, see, I'm getting all fidgety. I'm nervous. Normally, I would always tell you at the start of a video, hey guys, how are you? How have you been? I've been doing blah, 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 blah. And you may have noticed, if you've been watching me for a longer time, that this time I didn't do that. And I did that because I am not very well. And I figured if I said that at the beginning of the video, it would put a damper on things, and I didn't want that. I want Flosstube to be, you know, a happy, cheerful place. I get so many comments from you guys telling me how much you love my vibe and my energy and my positiveness. So I didn't want to put a damper on things. But I've not been well. And that has to do in major part with work. Last week, I've experienced sort of a mental breakdown, let's say. I'm still very much, you know, looking for the words to describe everything that's happening. But I have basically been showing symptoms of an early burnout. And I'm glad that we've caught it, I hope, on time. You've heard me say many times over the past year when I told you how I was doing in my videos that things were so busy at work, and, you know, I was hoping that it would slow down and that things would get better, and that did not really happen. Last year in August, I got a little promotion, which was amazing. You know, it's always nice to get recognized, to see that management trusts your abilities, your skills, to give you more responsibilities. And I very much wanted it. I wanted the challenge. I wanted to stretch my skill set and to see, you know, if I could grow into this new position. And I started off full of energy and full of, you know, my normal, positive, bubbly, happy self. And about 6 months ago, I started realizing this is not going well. Not at all. I don't love my job. I don't actually even like it. It requires a very different personality than the person that I am. It requires a different skill set. And for the longest time, I tried to adapt myself to the expectations that came with this position. And while I was, you know, struggling to live up to the expectations that most of it I put on myself, my body started showing signals that things were not going well. I was getting very tired. I was experiencing concentration problems. In the past 2 months, I've been experiencing moments of sudden dizziness, moments where my sight would all of a sudden become a bit blurry. Sleep would get troublesome every now and then. The last thought before falling asleep would be work, and the moment that the alarm clock rang, bam, work entered into my head. I got into trouble getting work out of my head during the weekends, which was new. Basically, my body was telling me, Mieke, this is not going well. But me being me, I ignored all of that. Because, you know, come on, soldier on. You wanted this challenge. You are responsible for many things going on at work. You have a fantastic team of colleagues. They are counting on you. So no whining and move on. And as the distress signals of my body started getting louder, I started to ignore them even harder. And around me, my parents, Christian, several friends were looking at me and saying, hey, are you okay? Do you need to see a doctor? My mom said to me several times in the past 2 months, Mieke, you don't look well at all. You need to go see a doctor. And I was like, oh yeah, it will get better, it will get better. But it didn't get better. And last week on Thursday, I had a sort of quarterly evaluation with my manager. You look back on the past 3 months, you see how you're going, you see how you are, you know, comparing to the targets that have been set for the year. And we sat down and I started crying. I just could not take it anymore. And she luckily responded super sweetly, super kindly. She immediately, you know, put the schedule and the targets away and said, hey, this is not good. What do you need? How can we help you? So she gave me the rest of Thursday off. She gave me this morning off, you know, to have a nice long weekend. In about an hour, I'm going to go to work and see how we are going to go about this. And I have no idea. I dread going to work. I noticed that I'm nervous, I'm fidgety, even though I love my colleagues, I've reached a point where I can't take anymore. And to me, if I'm very honest, I feel like I'm a failure. And I know that that's not true. I know that that is a lie. But there is a voice in the back of my mind that says, Mieke, you have failed big time. And that is a thought pattern that I will need to overcome in the coming months. I don't know what's going to happen. I hope I will be able to take some days off, to take some rest. I'm definitely gonna go follow my mom's advice to finally see a doctor and have my blood tested and see if I have, some vitamin deficits, or maybe there is a physical cause, a physical reason for all this tiredness. But yeah, this needs to stop. I am not going to get better by pushing myself while my body just can't go anymore. And all of that I want to put in this piece. It may sound funny, but you guys, you of all people will understand. This piece gives me comfort. The silks are so soft. They slide through my fingers, they slide over my hands. That's a very soothing feeling. And because it is a Quaker design, every time you finish a motif, you get a sense of accomplishment. And that's something that I very badly need right now. And, changing the words into that quote by Gaudí, I want this piece to serve as a reminder for me in later years of life. And I want it to be a reminder and to look back and to see that I have come out of this period, be it the fall or the winter or however long it's going to take for me to get back on my feet. But to serve as a reminder of, Mieke, you need to take proper care of yourself. And to serve as a reminder that if you want to do great work, you need to go back to what you love. And I know more or less where my talents lie. I know the things that I love to do besides dancing and stitching. So I want this piece to be a reminder of that for the rest of my life. And that's how I've been. Oh man, this video is getting very long. If you're still with me, thank you so much. Please don't worry about me. I will be fine. I'm not fine right now, but I will be fine. I have loads of people around me who care about me and who love me, and that always helps. But I thought it would be okay to share this with you. And then moving forward, to end this video on a happy note, because I do like to be happy, in 2 weeks' time it will be my birthday, the 22nd of September. And I have promised myself a new start, and maybe even 2. The first thing that I'm going to start for sure is Leeds House Sampler by Rosewood Manor. This was a Nashville release this year that I instantly loved because of all the blues and the greens. It will be my first time stitching with sulky thread, which I hear many good things about. We have discovered a pattern among Dutch stitchers that we don't like stitching alphabets, and I am one of them. So this alphabet is gonna go. I'm definitely gonna stitch everything from here on down. I love the verse. I love the center motif especially. And I'm gonna find something to replace the letters with. This is a booklet, and it comes with various options for, other borders and stuff. So this is gonna be fun. I'm very much looking forward to starting this. And then the lovely Annette from Arizona, AZ Annette on Instagram. She was a very naughty woman. And when I posted my stitchy wish list, she wrote me a message on Instagram saying, hey, that Bluebell by Nora Corbett, I've stitched her. Would you like it if I pass my chart along? And I said, yeah, sure, thank you. And then what did she do? About a week later, I got a package from 123 Stitch with a brand new chart, the beads and the threads and the metallics. That wonderful, amazing, naughty lady bought me the charts and the supplies. And the only thing I need to do is dive into my fabric stash, and this is good to go. And even though I said to Annette, I don't have any plans to stitch her in the very near future, after a gesture like this, she is definitely moving up in my wish list. So maybe I will grant myself 2 birthday starts, or otherwise it's definitely going to get started before this year is over. This is evidence of how wonderful Stitchy people are, and we keep saying it to each other, and it's true. If you guys weren't such wonderful people, I would never feel safe enough to share the story that I just shared. We are an amazing community. I am so glad to be part of this. Yeah, to quote our wonderful Arlene Cohen, you are my people and I love you. I thank you for watching this video, especially if you stuck with me all to the end. I am going to transfer the files to my computer. I'm going to go at work soon. And tonight, I hope I will have enough energies left to dance and to clear my head. And then I'm going to edit this video and put it up on YouTube. Thank you so much, guys. You mean the world to me. And we'll talk soon. Ciao, ciao.